How do you feel about the secondary right now?
You know what? I think they're ready, but until the lights come on and the ball's kicked off, we won't know exactly. I know coaches touched on it before in the past. As a coach, you think you know what you have, but until that first game, you don't know exactly. So, is it going to be perfect all the time? No, but I think they're going to play hard, and let's just see how they respond to adversity. Because there's always some.
Sorry, is this like an ideal, first matchup for some of those guys? Since Toledo, they have a bunch of inexperienced receivers on their end.
I don't think there's any ideal first matchup. They're going to come in, just like they could be saying the same thing for them, right? It's all about experience, and they don't have quite as much at that position, as they had the last couple years, and those talented guys. But they've got guys that have played. They've got guys that have been productive. 480, they can really run. So it's going to be a challenge. They got two experienced quarterbacks that know how to get those guys the ball, so they'll be able to command the offense. And so no, I wouldn't say it's an ideal matchup. I'd say it's going to be a really good football game on Saturday.
How do you prepare for a team that has two guys who started a quarterback and haven't exactly named a starter? I guess how do you go about preparing for
I think you have to prepare for both. And we do, and we'll be ready for both and anticipate. I think they named 6 the starter, and but we're expecting that there's a chance that we could see 12, and if we do, we'll be ready for it. If we don't, we know we've got our hands full. So whoever's in there, they each bring a little bit different style, and so you've got to prepare as such. And I think our guys are well aware of what each brings, and 6, he was leading the MAC in passer efficiency, before he got hurt, and 12, Peters, he came in and he was 4-2 as a starter. So you got 2 guys that are winners over there. So we've got quite a challenge.
Brad Xavier has gotten a lot of attention just because of his transfer and recruiting and all that. But regardless of his eligibility, how close is he to being in a spot where he can help you if he was out there, to being in that group of outside linebackers you said last week?
It's coming into this defense, there's a learning curve, and so I think all the new ones, we talked last week a little bit about me feeling comfortable with 3, and so I think anybody that's new at the outside linebacker position, it takes a little bit of time to be able to do everything that we ask of that position, because we put a lot on their plates, but I think he's getting more and more comfortable with it, and we'll cross that bridge when it happens.
About the 2 backs that they have coming up and see more.
They're big, strong back. They're really good for that system. They understand how to push the edge and then get vertical. Both of them are really good yards after contact guys. I think both of them had over 300 yards after contact. Kovac, at 971 and total yards or rushing yards and 14 TDs. 21's a big physical guy. He's over 210 pounds, had over 500 yards rushing. So, again, they've got a big physical 2-headed monster. And we got to wrap up. The thing that I think everybody saw. Whether it's preseason NFL, whether it's week 1 in college football, or week 0, whatever it is now. It's fundamentals. It's tackling. It's keeping leverage on the football. All those little things. It's composure, and so we've really tried to emphasize this week, and we need to play with that to be successful.
Are those definitely some of the things you want to see specifically, let's say, that first series when they take the field?
There's no question. I think the first 5 minutes of this football game is going to be vital for both teams, and we've got to be sound. We've got to be composed. Coach talks about it. And I think he's talked about it before. There's a lot of emotion and adrenaline, and everybody's been waiting, and there's a lot of build-up there. And you have to understand, all right, play with composure. You can be excited, you can play with energy, but you can't play out of your mind, because you play out of your mind, then you're going to pop a gap, you're going to blow something, you're not going to communicate, and then all of a sudden it's a big play, and then there's that huge adrenaline letdown, and you're sitting there trying to pick up all the pieces, through the rest of the first half.
Is there kind of a fine line between setting the tone and being careful not to go?
And I think I think that's a game one thing. I think younger guys, you got to try to lean on the old guys to keep them in check, to say, hey, listen, just play within yourself. Don't try to make every play early. Any play that presents itself, you've got to make it, but don't try to do someone else's job. Don't try to do too much. The plays will be there to be had, and if a play presents itself, make it, and then get up, play the next one. But again, I don't want them to play dull. I mean, there's that, like you said, that fine line, that energy component. I want them to be flying around. But understand, once the whistle's blown, you can't take anything extra. You just snap it up and go play the next one.
What was Boulay done to put himself in position to play?
You know what? He's come a long way. Over these last essentially 18 months. Since I've been here, and he's starting to become more comfortable as a football player. He's not just a sort of a physical, strong physical guy. He's starting to get a little bit more fluid. He's still got a little bit of ways to go. It's a little mechanical at times, but he's starting to understand blocking schemes. He's starting to understand what Coach LeBlanc's trying to teach him, and how to be just a natural football player, because everything doesn't happen like it's drawn up on a blackboard or on a sheet of paper. And the more snaps you get, the better you get at that. And but he's done a really good job there. He'll play, and we're gonna need him to play big and strong.
Brett, I know you've been gone from the Colts a couple of years, and you coached on the other side of the ball. But were you surprised by Andrew Luck's announcement, and what kind of dealings did you have with Andrew when you were coaching with the Colts?
That was one of those. I was really, really fortunate to be around Andrew there for 6 years. One of the best, not just football players I've ever been around, but really, really an unbelievable quality human being. And I tell people this story all the time. He met my young son at the time, and he was about 2.5, 3 years old, and he was really nervous, to meet it. And to him, he didn't know Andrew Luck. He was meeting a stranger, and and we had been going to this music class, and so he started to walk and dance like a penguin, what he had learned in this little class. And so every time Andrew would see me, he'd say, "Hey, how's Lincoln doing? Is he still walking like a penguin?" I mean, that was the kind of guy he was, that he would remember those small details about your family, and that he cared enough. So no, it was it a surprise? Absolutely. I think it was a surprise to everybody. But the physical toll that he took, it's commendable, and he's going to be a great father, and whatever venture he takes from here, he's going to be ultra successful. And so we obviously wish him nothing but the best, and we owe him a lot of thanks for being able to stay in Indy for as long as we did.
Did that provoke any conversations in the locker room with you guys about about health and football? And
No,
anything?
nothing.
Anyone else? Everybody good?